Come, let me tell you a secret, ba. If you want your stew to bang, if you want it to bang. So guys, today's recipe is dried fish stew. So first you get your pot and then you add your fresh blended tomatoes, your fresh tomatoes that you just blended. You add it into the pot and then we're going to cook it for 30 minutes. You need to cook it until it's dry, until there's no water at all. Like it needs to be dried, like you need to boil it. I don't know if I should say cook or boil, but you get what I mean, right? You get what I mean, right? So yeah, you have to boil that. Then in another pot, you get water, pour it into the pot, and it's very self-explanatory to be honest. And then we're going to add dried fish. I don't like to use the what's it called, the dried fish water, because I just don't like the taste it has. I don't know why. Like I don't like the water taste. Not that I don't like dried fish. So I usually don't like to use the water in my soup or my stew. I just don't like to use it. So I used to make sure I boil my what's it called, dried fish for till there's no water. So I just added onions and then I'll just add mixed spice. I usually just mix all my spice in a jar to make my cooking very easy. But there are some I don't mix. Actually, I mix everything and then there are some I just leave them on their own and still add to the food, if that makes sense. So, like chicken seasoning, along the way, you see the seasonings I don't mix in my spice jar. And after 20 minutes, your fish should be cooked properly. There'll be no water inside. And then you know your fish is ready. You need to cook it to be very soft. Well, I like mine to be soft. I don't think I know anyone that doesn't like it to be soft. And then you debone the chicken. That's basically removing the bones in the, I said chicken, in the fish, so that you don't like maybe swallow it by mistake. I just prefer to debone it. And after 25 minutes, this is what your, what's it called, your tomatoes that you're boiling should look like. As you can see, the water has reduced. I give it another 5 minutes, and after 30 minutes complete, this is what it should look like. Dried, no water, no nothing, and it means it's ready for frying. Make sure you dry it without water, just so it's not watery. Very important. Now in a pan, you put some olive oil or any oil you have, then you add your onions, chopped onions. I'm using white, is it called white onions? I can't remember what this onions is called, but I know the other one is called red onions. But I'm using the other species of onions, if that makes sense. So I was just adding basically all the onions. Guys, onions is very important in stew. You can blend it if you don't like seeing your onions, or you can just fry it like I did. I prefer to fry mine. And then you add garlic. Garlic and fish just does wonders. See, garlic, guys, don't underestimate the power of garlic. I love garlic. I used to hate it before, but now, guys, I'll be showing you guys so many recipes you can cook with garlic. Like garlic is a very important, it's as important as onions. That's all I have to say. And now I'm just adding my all-purpose seasoning. I was trying to advertise this people's thing, but my camera refused to focus, so I just had to just pour it and then just type it out while I was editing the video. So that's all-purpose seasoning. You can use any seasoning you have, and then I added chicken seasoning. These are the seasonings I mix in the jar, but I still like to add more of it because I'm a spice girl. I think I should call myself, I should be part of the spice group because I really like seasonings. I like spices. Like, I feel like it's very important. Like, I don't know how people just put only salt and pepper in their food. I can't relate. I need to have at least all purpose seasoning. And then I just added mixed herbs so I can have some greenery, if that's a word. Greenery in the food. And then I added my Maggie. You'd see along the way when I added my Maggie. Yeah, so that's Maggie. Added like 2 cubes based on the quantity. So you should know the amount of quantity of Maggie you need. For the portion I was doing, I didn't need a lot because I was still going to add it. I was still going to add salt, so I just used 2 cubes of Maggie, and it was okay for me, for my taste buds. And then I added my mixed seasoning. This is that seasoning jar that I added earlier in my fish. I still added it again in my onions. Always season your onions, it's very important. You know how onions is like a spice. I even have onion seasoning. It's part of my mixed seasoning. So yeah, season your onions and then you add your dried fish and then you give it a good stir. You have to stir it till the seasoning enters the fish. I know we cooked seasoning with fish earlier, but we just need more seasoning because I'm a spice girl. So add more seasoning there, okay? And then you're just going to keep mixing until everything goes in. At this point, your kitchen should know that you have arrived. Like everywhere would just be smelling so nice. Like if you don't like the smell of dried fish, then maybe you can't relate to this. But I feel like the seasoning also kind of like just made it perfect to me. To me, make sure you try out this recipe, and then you can understand what I'm trying to say. Well, yeah, this is just me letting the fish sit in the pot, in the pan. Actually, it was a pan or a pot. I was just letting it sit so that all the seasoning will just get in very well before we continue. So after tasting it, I decided I wanted to add salt, and I added salt. Don't put too much because of you used to Maggi if you're using the quantity I used, and then you add your crayfish. The reason why I don't add crayfish like in the beginning, like when I add the onions and to season, is because yeah, it's very important to fry your crayfish. But my issue is crayfish soaks a lot of oil. Like as you can see, I had oil in that pan, and now it has gone. It has disappeared because of this. What's it called? Because of crayfish soaks a lot of oil, so I just tend to like put it at the ending when I'm almost done frying, and then I fry it for a while, like I'm doing here. So now it's time for us to add tomatoes we just dried or be boiled, anyone you want to see, but you get what I'm trying to say. So now we're going to fry this for a while. You're going to first of all mix it, like stir it, mix it, whatever, which one you want to call it. Just have to mix it for a while, and then we would now allow it to fry. We'll add a little bit of oil because the fish soaked our oil. So we're going to add a little bit of oil so it can fry well. You need to fry, like if you've been watching my videos, anything regarding tomatoes, I always tell you the importance of frying your tomatoes. If you fry your tomatoes well, your food will come out well. At this point, I was just adding the burnt part. I don't waste. I don't like to waste certain things, so I wasn't going to waste that. As you can see, it wasn't that burnt. But anyways, you need to fry your tomatoes. It's very important if you want to get a good texture, a good taste. Fry your tomatoes very well. Very important. Left for me, sometimes I would fry the tomatoes separately before I now mix it with all this. If I want it to be very thick, but I didn't really want it to be too thick, so I just decided to fry everything together and just add a little bit of oil to allow it to fry, and then you'd see it when it has fried enough. Like when I was done frying, I think I fried it for like 20 minutes. It wasn't that long. And this is what it should look like when you fried it very well. As you can see, the color changed, and yeah, this is dried fish stew. Make sure you check out the recipe. Bye, guys. Till next time.